Hello peeps, welcome to part 4. Right, I've been a little bit naughty, but I've done it for a good reason. So, here we go. I put the stickers on. Now, the reason I sort of didn't show that is because it's so easy to do, it's pointless. But what you do need to do is use some of your UFO glue, spread it over the craft, and then apply the stickers on, especially on the nose. Okay, now when it comes to the hatch, all right, what you got to do, you put one battery on top of the other battery, so you know there's a positive and a negative, and they're going to attract into each other. Okay, and then you glue the bottom one in. Then you get to the plywood. Then you get the plywood and glue that in. Then you get your hatch, pop your battery this side, okay, because I know you can't see it, but there you go. And then put some of the stickers over the top of the battery so that it doesn't like stick, because otherwise you'll never part them. All right, and then put it in place like that, and then lay that nose sticker around using your UFO glue, okay, and then that will stick down, and this is basically held on with the sticker. Okay, now if you got any white parts, get yourself a Sharpie pen, silver Sharpie pen, just rub your Sharpie pen over the gaps anywhere that you get any white parts, and you should be good. The bottom sticker goes on pretty easily and quickly. You need some UFO glue on the tail end to make that stick down, because it goes from a flat surface to a round surface. Now, you've got a hatch here, which from what I can tell comes out, but I've left that in for now. I'll take that out using my knife later. And you have a hatch here, which you're going to use for coupling up the controls. Okay, and I'll take that out later when I need to. So the next step after that is to put the inlets on, which are the plastic parts. There's a sticker that goes over them. Now you'll notice it's thicker at the top than it is at the bottom. So the thick part goes at the top, thin part goes at the bottom. You put your sticker around it. Okay, both sides. Then you've got to put in, I'm going to turn the page here because I've forgotten what they call these now. What they're calling them. They're calling them install wing support components. So it looks a bit odd, but basically that's the shape they need to be for when you put the wing on, so you got lift underneath. Okay, so all that done in a couple of minutes. We now go on to the wings. Now with the wings, you've got to use, it says here, use a sharp tool or a screwdriver and screw along the marked lines on the bottom side of the wings at an angle. This allows the wings to bend downward along the central longitudinal line, forming an aerofoil shape. Okay, well, I'm going to leave this inside the former just for now. The thing is, it's deciding which one's the right and left and which is top and bottom. So I'm trying to remember now, because it's got the green part there and the other one should have it red, which is port and starboard, and I'm trying to remember whether the green is port or starboard. So I'm just going to have a quick look and see if there's any indications on the rest of the, yeah. So the right hand one is red, and the left hand one is green. So that's port, that's starboard. Okay, so that's got to be the right way up then, hasn't it? Would you agree? I hope you would agree, because if I'm wrong it's too late now. So what we've got to do, so that's obviously got to be the top, hasn't it? And I'm just taking another look. So you've got this shape here, edging off towards the back. So that's got to be. Now hang on a minute. Let's take this one out. Let's take this one out. Okay, because we've got to get this right now. Got to pay attention to these things. There we go. Using the provided knife. The Stuka instructions were a lot more comprehensive, I have to say. I think, but that was about 86 pages, I think it was. Very comprehensive, very easy to follow. These are a little bit more vague. Put that one. Okay. So that comes out. Now, let's see. So according to that, and I'm offering that up to the photo, just to show you what I'm doing and how I'm thinking it. Okay, it's the same shape there. So that's the correct way round. This is where the aileron is, so that's the rear. Okay, so if we look at the port side, that's the rear there. So we'll take that out. You can always zip forward if you're getting bored. That's forward. Let's have a look. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to file off the nibs. Okay. Hopefully, yeah, that'll fall out. So there you can see that's the correct way around. It's sort of tapering at the back there. Your green is on your left, your red is on your right. Okay, now what it's saying is use a sharp tool. Now I'm not going to use a sharp tool. I'm going to do what I did last time. I'm going to use a ruler. We've got the same ruler here. Yes, I have. Use a ruler and score along where the ailerons are. Okay, using the blunt end of my tweezers, and you only want to do this lightly because what will happen is it becomes too flimsy. Okay, I'll do it the other side as well. Flimsy to the point where you know you could drop off, so just a little bit of pressure, not a lot. Okay, there you go. Be able to bend that. I'm not sure how much movement it's supposed to have, but I'm going to guess it's going to be 5mm. Certainly no less than 3. Yeah, that's plenty of movement now. Okay, now should you have an accident and that becomes too flimsy, just get some sellotape and put it either side, but be careful when you put the sellotape on, make sure that that's bent down when you do this side, yeah, and then travel it over that side, then put the sellotape on, otherwise it won't move at all and then you'll be crying. So that's the Baron's topical tip there. So we'll do this one using the blunt end of my tweezers. Don't use anything sharp, you'll be working against yourself. And obviously using a ruler will give you that straight line. Okay. All right. So green is left, red is right. Red is right, yeah. Red, R for red, red for right. So score along the marked lines on the bottom side of the ailerons at an angle, lads. Ailerons move up and down along the cut lines. It would have been helpful if they give you how much movement you should have but it's probably later on in the instructions. Use a tool, a sharp tool and a screwdriver to screw along the marked line of the right side of the vertical stabiliser at an angle. This allows the rudder to move freely along the cut. Now I know exactly what they mean. This is an elevator. There's the rudder. And I'll explain why they're saying that in just a moment. Let's get this cut out, okay? Nice and carefully. Put it to one side. Where are we? So go through there, 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 there. I think I've done those, but let's yeah, another go. Okay, so that should fall out. Yes, it does. It falls out. Now I'll explain why they're saying that. You don't want to. Basically, what you're doing is you're crushing that. So you only need to crush it one side, really. Otherwise, it'll weaken it too much. So again, using my ruler and blunt tweezers, just compress that down like that. Okay, now it should move. Obviously it's going to move more one way than the t'other because you've squashed it down on one side, but basically you're not going to use a lot of rudder. You may not even use the rudder at all because it's not got wheels, so you're not, you know, taxiing across the ground. But you know, if you're doing a few aerobatics, then the rudder becomes useful. And then all we need to do is just smarten it up a little bit by using your nail file. Get rid of those nubs, making it a bit more presentable. And again, if you see this white foam, this you can put a silver or aluminium Sharpie pen along that, should you want to go that far with it, and we'll just put those nibs off there. There you go. It isn't going to hurt it, just makes it just that a little bit more presentable. Okay, I know you probably won't see these parts, but this one you definitely want to do because that's where it meets the fuselage. So you want that as flat as you can get it. Okay, so red is right, green is wrong. Okay, and I think I know what's coming next. So let's have a look at the instructions. I'm just winging this bit for now. Use a sharp tool to screw along the marked lines. The bottom surface, the horizontal stabilise at an angle. This allows the elevator to move freely along the cut lines. So you've got to now do the elevators. Okay. There's my knife. There it is. Just hold it firmly. There you go. It should, hopefully, I'll go through that one. Not got fully through there. What's holding it on? It's holding it on there. Okay, that's free now. Don't scrap these straight away. I've learnt this stuff can be useful if you make a mistake somewhere down the line. So just keep hold of that until you've done your maiden. Okay. There you go. It just tidies it up a little bit. Alright. Now, is there a top and a bottom? Yeah, okay. They look identical to me. Let's have a look. Horizontal carbon rod. Right, so I don't think it matters which way round they go. So what we're going to do is grab the blunt tweezers and the ruler, and we're going to score along the elevator there. Okay, so for those who are not initiated, that's the elevator, this is the horizontal stabilizer, and you just encourage it to move. Okay, you want a bit more up than you want down, but I'm just going to encourage the bottom part now very, very lightly. Hang on. Get it right. Very lightly. Okay. So you've got about 3mm there, and as much as you want to go that way. Okay. So that's your one elevator. Your next elevator. There you go. Just be careful what you're doing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I've got them all. Alright, and save in the scrap. And then just do the same again. A little bit of a rub. This one isn't too bad actually. There you go. Nice and gentle. You know, it's not stainless steel. It's quite soft stuff. Using the ruler. Okay, I'm going to go as light as I can on this. With my sausage fingers, or brassverse fingers if you like. Wurst. Your Aussie wurst. Right, okay. Yeah, it's about 3 to 4mm. There, plenty on that side. So there we go. That's all ready for what they're going to ask us to do next. And then we need to get some carbon rod. So I'm just going to edit this bit now because I need a cup of tea. There you go. Right then, putting the tail assembly together. Now, what you'll find is that these slots are staggered if you look at them. Okay, so what you do, you put the one side in first, like that, and then the other side, and you'll see the slots, there's 4 slots, and the other side will go in staggered. Okay, and you'll find that that matches up. Now, if you've got some metal blocks, as I have, then you're going to be in luck, because what you can now do is put that in there, put them together, and now you know that they are absolutely, oops, well they're not absolutely right now. Put it back. So we all make mistakes. All right, absolutely horizontal. Okay, now you take your carbon rod, and this is a rod, it's not flat, it's a rod, and it's supposed to be, now look, you get different lengths in this pack, so you've got to measure them. Okay, you've been told. So the one you're looking for is 90mm. So 90mm for the uninitiated is 9 centimeters. Okay, 9 centimeters, and for our American friends it's 3.5 inches. Okay, and you'll find there's a little hole just there, and that slots through that hole, and you want to get that as near as to halfway as you can. Okay, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to weight that down with something a little bit light. Actually, what I will do, I'll take that carbon rod out, put it in later. Let's get these horizontal first, okay? Get this horizontal. Okay. Now, make sure everything's seated as it should be. And what I'm going to do, turn that around so you can see it. Let me just check the camera. Yeah, you can see that. So I'm going to take my Zappo foam safe and I'm going to what we call wicking in, using my little tube there. Wick that in, and don't glue the rudder, just the vertical stabilizer. Okay. There you go. And I'm going to let that go off, and that'll be absolutely square on. And then I will fit the carbon rod as soon as that's gone off. Okay, in fact I might even run that down the side there. And what I'll do, I'll turn this over when that's dry and wick the other side. Then I know it's absolutely spot on. And I'll leave that carbon rod there while it's drying, so I can't lose it. And I'll come straight back to you. Okay, we're letting the tailplane dry, carbon rods in. Okay, so that's all square on, the carbon rods on. Okay, now this bit, you've got to put the carbon rod underneath the wing. Now don't forget, red is right, green is wrong. Okay, but this is the underside. Be aware of that. So this tapered part goes at the back, and that is the leading edge. That's the leading edge. It's the trailing edge. So if you've got your red light here, yeah, it's the correct way up. And of course, if this is the opposite, then that's the correct way up. Now you've got to get 2 pieces of carbon rod, okay, and measure them, because they've got to be 14 centimeters. Okay. 14 centimeters or 140 millimeters, which in imperial is 5.5 inches. Okay, now there's a crease line here where that's got to bend very slightly to give the wing that aerofoil shape. So you've got to be a little bit careful now. So you've got to look at the photographs very, very carefully, and you'll see that that carbon rod is just in front of that line, just in front. Okay, so what I'm going to do is double check that line like that. Okay, I'm going to place that on. Now you can see there's a panel line here. You place that on like that. Alright, what I'm going to do, put a dab of my glue on each side at the ends. Okay, and what I'm going to do, take my fixer, and that will take almost instantly. Then I haven't got to mess around. This isn't going to roll off or move. Okay, and I can just wick it in all the way along. Okay, let that run into carbon rod, put a bit of fixer on it, and now I can do the opposite side. So don't, you know, so when this goes on, this will be the left hand wing, okay? Right, so for the moment, ready's right, but when it goes on the aircraft, ready's wrong, if that makes any sense. Now, I'm just going to find that bend so I can see it. I'll put it just in front of that bend there. Okay. Alright, so that wing can bend the aerofoil, and just put a little tag on there if it'll come out. Oh, come on. There you go. Start again now. Fix it so it doesn't move. Give it a few seconds. Well, that's not going to move now. Okay, and then we'll just wick it in and let that naturally go in. Okay, and just leave them flat, let them go off, and then we're going to put the tailplane on and the wings on. Now I think we're pretty much up to our half-an-hour slot for each video, so I'm just going to turn the page to see what's coming next. So yeah, it's going to be put the wings on, we're going to put the tailplane on, and we're going to put the control horns on, and then it's making up the control rods. So I think that can come up in part 5. So that means I can put these away now, and that now concludes part 4, and I will see you in, oh, that doesn't go there, doesn't like it. So this is my 90 degrees tools. Never use them as a hammer, as I've seen somebody do recently. You should have known better. And I'll see you in part 5. Thank you for your time, and remember, this is free of charge. I don't ask for money or coffees or beers or anything like that. I haven't got one of those Patreons. Just give it the thumbs up, or share it, or subscribe, and that's all I ask you to do, and it's free of charge. You're getting this for nothing, you know. Okay, so if you're making that model and you want to know how and you're not sure, just come on in. It's absolutely free of charge. Just press the like button. That's all you've got to do. Nothing wrong with that. It'll take you a second. Alright, see you in part 5. Thanks peeps. Cheerio.